So, I think we can start the class. In the last class what we were talking was, we were talking about seed, right, fruits and seed. This was a section we have discussed in the last class. Seed, what we remember, it is a product of fertilization. Which part of the plant body converts itself into a seed? The ovule gets converted into a seed, right. We have talked about the parts of a seed and different types of seed. Talking about different types of seeds, two types or basically two terms we have talked about: endospermous and non-endospermous seeds. What was the basic difference between endospermous and non-endospermous? Endospermous seeds or non-endospermous or difference ke? Endosperm present or endosperm absent. And what is endosperm? Remember, we have talked about something called as double fertilization. I have shown you a diagram where we have also discussed about the presence of two male gametes in a pollen tube. One male gamete used to go and fuse with the egg and forms a zygote, and the zygote gets converted into the embryo. The second male gamete that is present in the pollen sac, what is its function? It will go and it will fuse with the central cell, and ultimately they will form a structure, or they will form a cell that has thrice amploidy, which ultimately will form the endosperm. So, this was the part that we have discussed. Today what we will discuss is, we will be talking about the structure of a seed, right. Talking about structures, obviously we have to talk about dicot and monocot, and dicot again of two categories: dicot endospermous and dicot non-endospermous. Similarly, in case of monocots also, monocot endospermous and monocot non-endospermous. So, first what we will do is, as far as examples are concerned, we have already discussed it in the last class. So, we are not going to write more examples about it, just one. Anyone remember an example of non-endospermous seed? Dicot or example question? Yeah, very good. And endospermous, in your NCERT book, mention or few sentences about castor is written. So, we have to talk about this. Now, talking about non-endospermous seed, how does it look like? This is the diagram that we have already drawn before. It is diagram agote akisilun nai. You have drawn, right? It's the structure of right. So, this is the diagram that we have discussed previously also. I think you remember the words called as epicotyle and hypocotyle, no? We have an area that is called as cotyledonary node, and this is the area where the two cotyledons they meet or they remain attached with each other. The part below the cotyledonary node is called as hypocotyle, that will give rise to radicle. The part above the cotyledonary node is called as epicotyle, that will give rise to the plumule, and ultimately we have something called as the embryonal axis. What is embryonal axis? A hypothetical axis, right, that is also called as tigellum. So, since we have already discussed, nothing to write about it. If this is over, then next heading kora endospermous dicot seed. Wow. কোনোবাই কিবা কোৱেশ্যন সুধিছিলে নেকি? Endospermous dicot seed sort, what we will be discussing is, we will be taking the example of castor. So, এইটো complete কৰি পেলাই লিখা. Since we are talking about a dicot, then obviously seed will have two cotyledons. Inside the seed, we know reserved food is present. So, in case of endospermous food, reserved food is present in which part? It is present in the endosperm. Is this point clear? Right, we know from a seed what happens, the baby plant gets germinated, right, and if the baby plant has to grow, then obviously it has to get some food. Food kot thakibo. Eta seedot food kot thakibo. What is that area where the food is reserved or stored food? So, if you are talking about an endospermous seed, then we know the food remains stored in the endosperm, but not seeds. All seeds are not endospermous. There are certain seeds that are non-endospermous also. In those cases which seeds are non-endospermous, the question is reserved food kot thakibo. Are you getting the question? Seed has to have reserved food for the baby plant. If it is endospermous, it's not a problem, because already the endospermous or endosperm tissues are nothing but nutritive tissues. So, tar bhitor ki thakibo, khwa bostu thakibo, and the baby plant will take it, right. If the seed is non-endospermous, then in that case the reserved food would be present in, for example, in this one, I don't think you see the endosperm in such a structure, right. The best example could be pea, another example could be gram also. We have discussed about gram in the last class, right. Dicot seed but non-endospermous dicot seed boli kole, we can draw a structure like this. In this entire diagram, we cannot see the word called as endosperm. So, if endosperm is absent, does that mean the reserved food is also absent? Reserved food kot thakibo? It will always be present in the cotyledon. So, these are 2 points that you remember. If a seed is endospermous, reserved food will be present in the endosperm. If the seed is non-endospermous, reserved food will be present in the cotyledons, right. Now, we will be taking the example of castor seed. Since we have to discuss in details, castor seed or details likha. Yeah, please come. since we are discussing castor seed and castor is an example of a dicot, then how many cotyledons would be present? 2 cotyledons. Just draw the seed. So, 2 types of seeds, endospermous and non-endospermous. Endospermous we have non-endospermous we have already given the diagram. This is the diagram of an endospermous seed. The seed is endospermous. Does that mean the cotyledons would be absent? No, cotyledons to thakiboi lagibo, because either we are talking about a monocot or we are talking about a dicot. So, it has to have a cotyledon. Doesn't matter whether the endosperm is bigger than the cotyledon or it stores more reserve food, right? Whatever it might be or whatever kind of seed that it might be, cotyledons will always be present. But in this seed what we see, if you are comparing the cotyledon and the endosperm, bigger kuntu, obviously the endosperm, and I think we have already explained when a seed is called as endospermous, what is the type of division that occurs after fertilization. If you remember, we have talked about that the division of a particular cell that is called as PEN, which had a ploidy of trisane. Right. So, if that part or if that cell goes for a faster cell division, then the endospermous tissue would be more inside the sac and ultimately the seed would be called as an endospermous seed. If the division of twisane cell would be more faster as compared to the division of the trisane cell, then inside the embryo sac, কি tissues বেশি হবো, endospermous বেশি হবো নে zygote বা embryonic tissues বেশি হবো? It will be always embryonic tissues that it will be more. So, as I said again that such or detailed discussion will be always be done in another chapter that is given in your second year course. So, we do not have to learn much in details. As of now, what we need to remember, either it is endospermous or it is non-endospermous, cotyledons would be present, but in case of non-endospermous, আমি কি নে দেখো cotyledon কি endosperm to দেখা না পাও, but in this case both the thing are noticed. Since we are talking about 2 cotyledons, so they will remain attached in the node that is called as cotyledonary node, and rest of the explanation is exactly the same. The epicotyle will give rise to the plumule and the hypocotyle will give rise to the radicle. Now, talking about endosperm, so this is not only the only example. Castor is a okol endospermous seed hoy, okol hetu example no hoy. Coconut is also an example of endosperm. So, the next point that we have to know is whether the endosperm is fatty or whether the endosperm is oily or whether the endosperm is proteinaceous or is it starchy, etc., etc. Depending on seed to seed, the different types of endosperms could be seen. The question that could be asked is, the endosperm in case of a castor seed is fatty, oily, proteinaceous, etc., etc., starchy. So, you have to remember the word fatty. Next, Castor seed, when you talk about, we see a special structure that is called as a caruncle, and because of this presence or because of the presence of this tissue or these two types, no, a common protrusion dekha paisu, no. So, because of the presence of this caruncle, such a seed is called as carunculate seed. So, question ako ahibo pare, give an example of a carunculate seed. Example of a carunculate seed is castor. What is a carunculate seed? A seed having a caruncle is called as a carunculate seed. Now, what is a caruncle? Scientists are of opinion that the caruncle is nothing but the remains of a third integument. Remember, we have talked about a ovule. A ovule has two integuments when we are talking about angiospermic seed, right? In the last class, we have drawn something like this. Enuka diagram disilu ne? Mon dasen nai? Etu ki asile? Ovule, and these two are nothing but integuments, right? And what I said, remember, we have again discussed two words that is called as orthotropous and anatropous ovule. Etu ki hoy? The straight ovule. This is the micropyle facing towards the upper portion. So, this is called as orthotropous or straight ovule. Sometimes in majority of the angiosperms, this is a condition that we see where the micropyle faces towards the ground, right? In this case, this is called as anatropous or inverted ovule, right? We will not come to orthotropous and anatropous. We are concerned with this word called as integuments. What is integument? The covering of a ovule is called as integument. And as far as the number of integuments are present, there are certain words related, that is unitegmic, bitegmic, tritegmic, ategmic, etc., etc. So, by the words itself, we have an idea. If you are talking about a seed or if you are talking about a unitegmic ovule, we understand that the ovule has a single covering, that is called, or that is just the presence of one integument. If you are talking about a bitegmic ovule, then it is obvious that it will have two integuments. In case of angiosperms, what is the common type that we see? Bitegmic ovules are most commonly seen in case of angiosperms, whereas unitegmic ovules are more commonly seen in case of gymnosperms. We will be discussing these later, right. So, when we talk about integuments, so scientists are of the opinion that in case of a castor seed, maybe they had a third integument, and after fertilization, when the ovule got converted into the seed, the third integument or common remains were left over, and this part is called as a caruncle. So, a seed having a caruncle is called as a carunculate seed. What is a caruncle? It is believed to be the remains of a third integument, right. Example of a carunculate seed is castor. These are the information that you have to know. And what are the points that we will write? Eto diagram likha, that's what points bole heading kora. Castor seed or point, okay, continuation. You have to write it down because this is a portion that is not there in the PDF, okay. Testa or tegmen ki asile? What is testa and what is tegmen? Testa and tegmen, we are talking about what? We are talking about the seed coat, right. So, if the seed coat comprise only of the testa, we understand that the ovule was unitegmic, right. And if the ovule was bitegmic, then it has two integuments or two coverings, one outer one that is called as testa, and within or inner to the testa we see the tegmen, which is comparatively thinner as compared with the testa. Next point. কোনটো টেগমেন TEGMEN টেষ্টা আৰু টেগমেন টেষ্টা হ'ল তোমাৰ চিডটোৰ আউটাৰ কাভাৰিংটো ঠিক আছে আৰু তাৰ ভিতৰতো কেতিয়াবা কি হয় অকণমান ফিলামেণ্টাছ একদম পেপাৰ টাইপ আৰু এখন কাভাৰিং যদি দেখা পাওঁ দেট ইজ কল্ড এজ টেগমেন ৰাইট যদি কাবুলী বুটটো দেখিছা ন কাবুলী বুট ডাঙৰ যোনটো কাবুলী বুট ন কাবুলী বুটটো বাহিৰতো এখন কাভাৰ থাকেই তাৰ ভিতৰলৈও চাবাচোন একদম ফিলামেণ্টাছ কাভাৰ এখন থাকে ৰাইট চ' যদি দুখন কাভাৰ থাকে এখনক টেষ্টা ক'ম বাহিৰৰখনক আৰু ভিতৰখনক কি বুলি ক'ম টেগমেন বুলি ক'ম অ'কে I think I can rub this diagram. Right? This is the added information. We are talking about a condition called as bitegmic. If the ovule is bitegmic, two coverings would be formed, that is the testa and the tegmen. Next. What we are doing now is we are writing the description of the diagram that we have drawn. Ovules are bitegmic, BITEGMIC. Bitegmic মানে দুখন ইন্টিগ্ৰুমেণ্ট প্ৰেজেণ্ট I think you have heard about castor oil, right? So castor oil is obtained from, it is obtained from the endosperm. Some more points about the carbuncle. And since we have already written that point, no, carbuncle ki hoy, it is believed to be the third integument, so we are not writing it down again. So the next point is about the seed, right? So we know what is a carbuncle, we have already drawn this, I mean the structure of the seed, right? Now we hear another word that is called as the hilum and the micropyle. Micropyle, we have an idea. What is micropyle? The area of the ovule which is not covered by the integuments is called as the micropyle. It is that area through which the pollen tube will penetrate and ultimately it will conduct what? Fertilization, right? We have discussed a structure like this. So if these are integuments, so this is the ovule that is covered with integuments on all sides except this portion, and this portion is called as the micropyle. Now we hear another word that is called as the hilum. What is hilum? The point of attachment of the ovule to the funicle. What is funicle? The stalk of the ovule, right? So again, it will be a little bit of a problem to understand because the structure has been given in your class 12 portion and not in your 11 portion. But even then, suppose we are talking about a structure like this. এইটো কি হয় ফানিকেল ন this is the entire ovule. A funicle dal junto portion or log lagi ase. That area where the funicle remain attached with the body of the ovule, that is called as the hilum, right? We know the follicle is stalk of the ovule, it has to remain attached with the body. Junto portion or log lagi thake tak ami ki boli kom hilum. We will hear another words like raphe, hilum, etc. but itia nohoy class 12 word, right? As of now what we know, hilum kiho karone poribo laibo. Actually since this portion is not given in your 11, we are like, it's not that the question has been asked from this portion. Etu question kete ona hai what is hilum. Maybe this is a question that will be asked in your class 12, right? As of now, why we need to read this? Because a diagram based question is asked, right? If you are talking about a seed like this, etu diagram to akil basa. Just to have an idea, right? What is hilum? What is micropyle? Micropyle we know, right? After the seed is formed, we see two dots. One is called as the hilum and the other is called as the micropyle. Again, if you want to see such a structure, no? Again, the base example could be a gram seed. If you have seen the gram seed properly, you see two pore-like structures in the gram seed. Buttut sabasan tolor pine duta futa ase. Right. So, one is the micropyle and the other is the hilum. Micropyle we know, hilum now we understand. Now, what is the question that is asked? The question from the diagrammatic, I mean from the diagram that is asked is, diagram to di dibo, duta dot di dibo. Right. So, you need to remember hilum to tolot, micropyle to uporot. Right. Bas etue diagram ahe ar beleg eku nahe. So, this was all about the structure of a dicot seed, right? Structure of a dicot seed, two structures we have to learn, endospermous and non-endospermous. Endospermous we have already drawn, non-endospermous, the best example could be a pea seed or a gram seed, right? Next, heading koriba monocot seed. Any questions from this part? Eto buzilu no? Ki points for him? Carunculate seed or example mon rakhiba, ha? Next, structure of a monocot seed. So, similarly, monocot seeds will also be divided into two categories, endospermous and non-endospermous monocot seed, right? In your NCERT book, one particular monocot seed has been drawn and given in details. Kuntu dise? Kuntu example ase NCERT book monocot seed buli kole. What is that example that you remember? Dicot seed buli kole jenenge gram, pea, etc. Monocot seed buli kole, just give me an example of a monocot seed. Rice, wheat, etc. These are examples of monocots. Our NCERT eniko eta diagram ase kobo morphology koraise schoolot. Complete hoise sobore. Nai hoa tomanlok complete hol. Hoise. So monocot seed or diagram kuntu shikaise? Eta to lage no structure. Enuka bostu eta porisa nai? দেখা যেন লাগিছে না অকমান কিবা এনেকা right কি হয় এটো maize seed right okay so details আমি maize seed to কৰিব লাগিব right Examples, please study. Examples of question hai. Give an example of an endospermous monocot seed. Give an example of a non-endospermous monocot seed. Within this category, we will be talking about maize, rice, etc. And non-endospermosaur example could be orchid, right? Maize seed ne maize grain ki boli kaun? We use the word maize seed or we use the word maize grain. It is a grain, right? So, a seed is said to be a grain when you see a particular condition. What is the condition? We will be talking about it in the Xerox that I have said that I will give you. Okay. So, we have to talk about this too. Etu huar pisot heading kora. Many questions has been asked from this diagram. So, please read the diagram properly. Since we are talking about a monocot, what is the number of cotyledons that you will see? 1. Maize is an example of endospermous and non-endospermous. Endospermous. So, obviously in the obviously in the structure we will see the endosperm also, right? Then we will mark it down. Okay. When we are talking about a maize seed, for those students who has already read this portion or have an idea about the maize seed, one very important word relating or related to the cotyledon of a monocot seed, ki asile word to? Maximum questions ahe etu report. The single cotyledon in case of a maize seed is called as something that starts with S. Heard about it? Scutellum hunisa, right? Is the diagram over? Okay. So talking about this one, no, it's very important from questions point of view. Many question has been asked. What are the parts that are important? This one. Question ahibo, this part would be marked as A and you need to identify which is this part. Okay. So gutei bilak parts first kotha bhalke pohiba, right? Identification A, B, C, D. So alluron layer important. Etu epithelial starchy. Then you have something called as coleoptile, something called as coleorhiza, and obviously this one, very very important, right? The single cotyledon of a maize seed is called as, the single cotyledon of a maize seed or the single cotyledon of a monocot is called as, it is called as scutellum. So what is scutellum? Etu ahibo pare, identify koribo pare, A, B, C, D, D dibo, you have to identify the parts. Okay, talking about this seeds, the first part is, it's an example of an endospermous or it's an example of a non-endospermous, it's an example of an endospermous seed. So we see the endosperm. Which is the endosperm? In case of maize, right, it is a seed that has two types of endosperm, right? So duta endosperm ase, eta a layer to eta endosperm, tamne a gutei portion to endosperm hoy, right? This is a seed, this entire portion is the endosperm and this portion will form the embryo. Remember we have talked about a structure like this, the structure of an ovule. Remember this one, what we said is structure, right? So in case of angiosperm, this is the most common type. So after fertilization, what happens? If this is the egg, here the pollen tube will come and fertilize and ultimately they will form a twice-end cell and then they will form, this is what is called as the zygote. This zygote will divide and redivide and form a group of cells and this entire portion would be called as embryo, right? The second male gamete will come and fuse with this central cell. This is the central cell. Central cell, it has two nuclei. Male gamete to fuse kori pelai, ultimately what they will form? Trisend cell, that is called as primary endosperm nucleus. This trisend cell will divide and ultimately will form a group of cells and these will form what? Endosperm. So we have an idea which part will form the embryo, which part is the endosperm. Coming back to this diagram, in this diagram we see that it is divided into two compartments, one a larger one and the other is a smaller one. The larger one is the endosperm and this is the embryo. So talking about endosperm, the first part is, in case of a maize seed, we see two types of endosperm, one a proteinaceous endosperm and the other a starchy endosperm. More points bilak likhi dim olop pisot, thik ase. So talking about starchy, this part, as I said, no, oily hobo pare, fatty hobo pare, starchy hobo pare, it could be made up of proteins also. So this part is full of starch and so this part is called as starchy endosperm. Talking about this alluron layer, eta ki likha ase? Protein coat. So this part is the proteinaceous endosperm. So a seed having two types of endosperm, example is a maize seed. What are the two types of endosperm? Starchy endosperm and proteinaceous endosperm, right? Proteinaceous kini, it's limited to a thin layer, starchy besi hoy, right? Next, we have a layer of tissues that divides both the sections. As far as this epithelial tissue is concerned, what is the function of the tissue? Secretion of certain types of hormones to solubilize the food. This part is the endosperm. If you are talking about endosperm, endosperm or bhitor ki thakibo? Reserve food, and this reserve food would be used by whom? It will be used by the baby plant. If you are talking about the baby plant, who forms the baby plant? Will the endosperm form the baby plant or it's from the embryo that the baby plant will germinate? It's the embryo. So in this structure, you see the food is stored here. The baby plant will germinate from here. So it requires food. So food to kot ase? Yate ase. So yar pra yale ahibo lagibo na lage. And the food is always stored as a solid mass. And the baby plant will not be able to take up or absorb that solid structure. So what it has to do is, this epithelial layer will secrete certain types of hormones. it will solubilize the food, water logot mix koribo, right, and ultimately it will enter the baby plant and then they will take it. So what is the function? Solubilization of the nutrients. We will be writing it down. Next is coming to this part, no, this one. Since it is an example of a monocot, so obviously only one cotyledon would be present. This single cotyledon is called as scutellum. Now talking about this one, a portion took ami ki boli ko jopra baby plant dal ulabo ba juntue baby plant dal form koribo tak ami ki boli ko embryonal axis, right. Remember we have talked about the embryonal axis while we are discussing the dicot seed also. Eta log ki boli kom embryonal axis, right, and this is the cotyledonary node, right, because two cotyledons remain attached. Similarly in this case also, with the embryonal axis the cotyledon will always remain attached. In case of a dicot seed, this part was called as what? Epicotyle. This part was called as hypocotyle. Similarly in this case also, if this is the embryonal axis, the upper portion is called as epicotyle, the lower portion is called as hypocotyle. Coming to this diagram, in case of a dicot seed, epicotyle will give rise to ki form kore plumule, hypocotyle will give rise to radicle, radicle will ultimately form roots, plumule will ultimately form the shoot system. This is in case of a dicot seed. Similarly, in case of a monocot seed also we see the embryonal axis, right. In the embryonal axis we see two regions, epicotyle and hypocotyle. The question is, epicotyle give rise to dash and hypocotyle give rise to dash in case of a monocot seed. Epicotyle ki form kore? Are we writing the word radicle and plumule? No, we are writing the word ki coleoptile and coleorhiza. So if the question is asked, is radicle and plumule seen in a monocot seed? The answer is no. That does not mean shoot system or root system develop no koribo, right. In case of a monocot seed, we see or we hear two words, that is coleoptile and coleorhiza. What is coleoptile? If the epicotyle or if the plumule is covered by sheath of cells, then that portion would be called as coleoptile. Epicotyle to jodi okol eneke thake no, it is not covered with extra layers, then it is called as plumule. If the epicotyle is covered with extra layers of cells, then this portion would be called as coleoptile. Similarly, if you are talking about this portion, A2 ki boli koisilu radicle. If this structure is covered with extra sheets of cells, then we do not use the word radicle, right. So where can you see coleoptile and coleorhiza? It is a characteristic of only the monocots and not of the dicots, right. Dicots are coleoptile, coleorhiza, present or absent, it is absent. Monocots are plumule and radicle, present and absent, it is absent, right. What is coleoptile? Nothing but the plumule covered with sheets of cells. What is coleorhiza? The radicle covered with sheets of cells. So these are the points about this one that you need to remember, right. Next part is, since we know that in case of a seed, if you are talking about the baby plant that will germinate, the baby plant will always require food, and where exactly can the food be found? Generally we have an idea that the food is always stored in the cotyledons. In case of a dicot seed, since they have two cotyledons, then the amount of food is more. But if you notice what we have written here, in case of a monocot seed, especially in case of an endospermous monocot seed, the cotyledon that is present is very thin and papery. If the structure that contains food is very thin and papery, then will it store more food or it will store less food? Obviously it will store less food, right. So it is so thin and papery, it is almost like it contains no food, right. So if this baby plant needs to germinate, it cannot depend on this, right. So ultimately it has to take the food from somewhere else. Corpora lobo, yarpra. So what will the epithelial tissue will do? Will secrete certain type of hormones, right. Food be like solubilized hoi pelai. It will reach this chamber, enter the cotyledon and ultimately enter the baby plant. This is the way how the food from the endosperm reaches the baby plant. Is the point clear, right? So this is the structure. We will write certain points about it. I think this part is clear, right? From the dicot seed structure, both the diagrams you need to study, right? Dicot endospermous, dicot non-endospermous, both the structure. And from the monocot section, maximum question has been asked about this one, endospermous. Non-endospermous monocot seedor diagrammatic questions iman aha nai. Tothapi we will discuss. So, this is the important part from the monocot part section. What are the points that are important? Terms like coleoptile, coleorhiza, scutellum. Maize seed has how many types of endosperm? 2 types of endosperm, starchy and proteinaceous, right? Proteinaceous to kuntu part, the aleuron layer, it is made up of protein. So, that is the proteinaceous endosperm. So, if this is over, you all can write the next heading, structure of a monocot non-endospermous seed. এখানে লিখি লবা। Is it over? Okay. Over. Okay. So, up till now what we have studied is, if you are talking about a seed, it is that structure from which the baby plant will germinate. This is one sentence that we know. Seed could be endospermous, it could be non-endospermous. If a baby plant has to germinate, it will require food. Food to kot thakibo, it will store, or it will be stored in the cotyledons, or it will be stored in the endosperm. Now, think of a seed where it has just a very small cotyledon, and plus it does not have an endosperm also. So, what will happen to that seed? If a seed has an endosperm, we know the reserve food is present in the endosperm. If the seed has cotyledons also and the cotyledons are big or more in number, then we understand the baby plant will get the food from there itself. But think of a condition about a seed which does not have an endosperm, and also the cotyledon that is present inside the seed is very thin or it is very minute. The seed will germinate or it will not germinate. Yeah, the food would be very less. So, if the food would be very less, then obviously it will be a problem for the germinating plant, right. So, that is the reason why especially plants like orchids cannot be grown from the seeds. There are certain plants which cannot be grown from the seeds, and the best example is the orchid, right. Orchid seed, if you collect and if you plant it down, tarpa baby plant adal nohoy. It is always by vegetative propagation that we used to grow the orchid plants. The reason behind that is because it is an example of a monocot non-endospermous seed, right. Endosperm nai ar jontu cotyledon present ase hetu birat horu hoy, right. So, structure to nothing in details, okoman khali. So, if you are talking about So just this is the point. Excuse me? Banana, vegetative propagation. It's not by seeds also, because banana do not have seeds, but there are some species that have seeds, but in spite of that, वही फिर से वही हो गया ना. Banana is an example of a monocot, so cotyledon single and it's very thin. So banana does not get germinated by seeds. It is that part that lies under the soil, जो rhizome corm जैसा चीज़ होता है. So this was all about the structure that you have to study, structure of a dicot seed and structure of a monocot seed. Is the portion clear? Ne kiba doubts asile niki? Once you start doing your MCQs, you will have an idea what is the type of question that is asked from this portion. You will see that maximum question is asked from the maize seed, right? Baki kitar iman question aha nai, kintu maximum gutte questions kini maize seed diagram e hok, but the terms related e hok, right? Okay. So we have almost completed the seed part. Some terms related to seed we need to discuss. So heading koriba points. Please ask. In case of orchid, now non-endospermous seeds bilakor germinate nohoy mane ki it will depend on what is the amount of food that is present in the cotyledon. Cotyledon to ekebare kom thakibo, right? Enekwa to hob so germinate koribo lagile obostutuk food lagibo, jodi food ei nai germinate keneke koribo, aru jodi if at all germinate koreu depending on the amount of food that is present in the cotyledon, that plant will not remain viable or it cannot survive for a longer period. কারণ ডাঙৰ হৈ থাকিব লাগে তাক ফুড লাগিব, ফুডৰ সোর্সটোৱে নাই. ঠিক আছে? Okay. Some points, some terms you need to study. So dicot seed, monocot seed, another seed that is called as carunculate seed. These are the three words that we have already heard, right? Now we have another word that is called as perispermic seed. A seed is said to be perispermic when the nucellus remains persistent. Now do you know what a nucellus is? Nucellus jana ne? Nucellus is a group of tissues. Again this part, as I said, no, since the portion is given in your class 12, so like it's a little bit difficult to relate, but even then just to have a kam koro prothome sentence to likho, then we'll understand. Likhi loss. Remains persistent, P-E-R-S-I-S-T-E-N-T. Persistent mane, have you heard this word before? Remember we have talked something called as persistent calyx. While we were discussing the calyx portion in this chapter, we have said that in certain types of fruits we see a persistent calyx. What is the meaning of persistent? Something that stays for after fertilization also, that is what is called as persistent. We have given the example of brinjal. Brinjal is a fruit, and on top we see a green structure. This is called as what? The calyx part. Actually, what happens to the other holes of a flower after fertilization? When we talk about a flower, which part is important from fertilization point of view? It is always the male and the female reproductive part, that is the androecium and the gynoecium. So, once fertilization is done, what will happen to the other two parts of a flower? I am talking about the calyx and the corolla. Generally, what is seen is the calyx and the corolla withers off or it falls off. Because what is important? Obviously, the two reproductive part, calyx and corolla main kam ki asile? Attraction, right? Pollination, it will be colorful, it will do the work of protection, etc., etc. Once fertilization is done, they do not have any work. So, at that time, they wither off or they fall off. But there are certain examples where the calyx remains persistent even after fertilization. After fertilization only, structures like seed, structures like fruit is seen. Before fertilization, it is nothing but a flower. Only after fertilization, we see these structures called as seed and fruit, right. So, there are certain examples of fruits where the calyx remains persistent or it remains there along with the fruit even after fertilization. Normally, the calyx falls off, right. So, that is the meaning of persistent, it stays behind, right. Example of persistent calyx, brinjal, tomato, guava, these are examples where you can see the calyx remaining in the fruit. Normally, belek fruits or calyx na thake. If you are talking about the apple, obviously you cannot see the calyx in the apple, right. Now, we come to a word called as nucellus remaining persistent. Persistent, now we understand something that stays even after fertilization, that is called as persistent, or it stays for a longer period. Talking about this word nucellus, now there is a difference between nucleus and nucellus. Nucleus is something that we understand, right. The brain of a cell, that is called as a nucleus, where you will see all the genetic material, that is called as a nucleus. Talking about the nucellus, nucellus ki hoy? So, when we are talking about the female reproductive part of the carpel, we know this is the stigma, style and ovary, right. Inside the ovary, what you will find? The ovules, but this ovule was formed from the starting point of the plant or it was formed gradually. Ovule inside the ovary or the ovary itself was formed gradually, right. As the plant matures, then only the ovary, and from the ovary the ovule will be formed, right. Ekdam horute, from the point of germination, obviously the ovule was not present, right. Gradually the cells got differentiated and ultimately structures came into existence. So, ovule to kune form koribo? Ovule to ovary form koribo, right. Before starting or before seeing this structure, if you are talking about this portion as the ovary, ovary ki asile? It was made up of certain cells, right. Again, how does the ovule develop? How does the pollen grain develop inside the anther? Again, these are the portions from your second year course, right. We have certain topics called as microsporogenesis, megasporogenesis. I think you all have heard about it, right. So, microsporogenesis will talk about what? The formation of pollen grains inside the anther. Megasporogenesis will talk about the formation of the ovule inside the ovary, right. So, keneke hoy kune form kore hebilak ami pisot jam. Just to have an idea, no, as I said initially, the ovary had a collection of tissues. This entire collection of tissues was called as nucellus, right. Nucellus ki hoy? Nutritive tissue, right. So, ovary to bhitor kisuman tissues thake, those are nutritive, they will provide nutrition to whom? To the most important part of the ovary, that is the ovule, right. So, what happens is one cell of the nucellus, right, ultimately out of all these cells, no, eta cell dangor hoi jay, right. Prothomote ki asile? Bahut cells asile. One cell will become big and it will develop as a ovule. So, ultimately who forms the ovule? It is the nucellus that forms the ovule, or the ovule develops from the nucellar cells, right. Once the ovule starts growing, it will require food. Food kopra pabo? From the surrounding nucellus. So, once the ovule starts growing, the nucellus will get absorbed, and ultimately when the ovule is fully developed, I mean nucellar tissues bilak dekha na pao, will no longer see the nuclear tissues. Why? Because all the food of the nuclear tissues has been taken by this developing ovule in the process of growing. Once it becomes mature, the entire nuclear tissues becomes degraded. Karon ekku nai no tar contents bilak ko di dile ovule di dile, right? But this is something that is seen in normal conditions, right? In most of the angiospermic plants, the nuclear tissues cannot be seen after fertilization, or maybe it starts degrading or it starts diminishing or reducing during the process of developing of the ovule. But there are certain examples where the nucellus remains persistent even after fertilization, and that type is called as what? Perispermic. So, in that case ami already ovule to dekha pam, ovule to surrounding or kisuman nuclear cells to dekha pam. This is the ovule and these are nuclear cells. If the nuclear cells persist or remains even after fertilization, we use a word called as persistent nucleus, right? A seed that has a persistent nucleus is called as perispermic seed, right? Normally seeds bilakot nucleus nathake, nucleus to absorb hoi jay, right? A seed with a persistent nucleus is called as perispermic. So, question ahe from the statement, question ahe from the example. The statement is important, I mean especially this word persistent nucleus, that word is important, and the example is also important. I think it's understood. Buji paisa ne? Okay. Give an example of a carunculate. What is a caruncle? We have already understood, so we will not write it down. We have a term called as chelazosperm. We have a term called as chelazosperm. Chelazosperm is nothing but a group of tissues that is found in the chelazal area. It looks like the perisperm. Not very important from examination point of view. Okay. Next is, since we have talked about seeds, we have to talk about dispersal also. এখানে খালি লিখি লোৱা Smallest seed in the plant kingdom, orchids. As far as winged fruits and winged seeds are concerned, winged seed we have talked about in the chapter called as plant kingdom, the gymnosperm part, where we have made a comparison between cycas and pinus, that is Sabah. So, certain terms, what is parachute mechanism of dispersal? Teneke questions aha nai. From MCQ point of view, the question that is asked is parachute mechanism of dispersal is seen in, right? It is seen in case of sunflower. So, the dispersal with the help of a special structure called as pappus is called as parachute mechanism. Terms kita monot rakhiba. Sensor mechanism, it is a process through which the seeds are dispersed at intervals. It is not that all the seeds will get dispersed at the same time. Ebar khulibo, okoman seeds will get dispersed with the coming wind, certain seeds at a time. If the dispersal is like that, that is called as sensor mechanism, right? Okoman seeds, okoman homoy dispersed, right? Example this one, rolling mechanism of dispersal. Rolling we understand, moving from one place to another in the form of a ball, that is called as rolling, right? Generally it is seen in a particular type of grass that is grown in the desert area. Along with the wind, it used to move from one place to another. If you remember, we have talked something about it when we were discussing Selaginella. Mondasene Selaginella? For those who have done the topic, or anyway forget. So, rolling mechanism of dispersal is seen in, or they are also called as tumbleweeds. It monot rakhiba. Autochory, hydrochory we understood. Autochory, self-dispersal. Right? When we talk about dispersal, when we talk about pollination, we understand self-pollination and cross-pollination, right? We know that sometimes what happens, dispersal occurs all by itself or certain plants depend on certain agencies, right? In this case, the agent is water, right? Similarly, we have certain agents like air, certain agents like insects, etc., etc. But there are certain plants which will disperse its seeds and fruits all by itself, and that is what is called as autochory. Agent nalage, right? Dispersal or karne. This word is again important. Question ahibo lage, dispersal by a jaculator is seen in, or dispersal by a jaculator is an example of, it's an example of autochory, it is seen in this. Now what is a jaculator? Jaculator is a hook like structure, right, in the funicle of the ovary. Funicle mane ki, stalk, right? Inside the ovary you have the ovule that will ultimately convert itself into a seed. That seed needs to get dispersed. Who will help in dispersal? A hook like structure that is present in the funicle, right? Again, fountain mechanism or question aha nai. Jodi tick korisu hegita monot rakhiba. Parachute, sensor, rolling mechanism, jaculator. So this is all about the seed, the fruit and the dispersal section, right? Okay. The next part of the lesson, we have to talk about something called as floral diagram, floral formula and angiospermic families. Okkoman start kori dim aji, just heading koriba. Is this over? So this is the last part of the lesson. Maybe we'll require one more class for that, right? And this chapter will get over. Eta class lagi was again, or maybe maximum 2 classes. So talking about a flower, if you want to represent a flower in the form of a symbol, we write a certain type of a symbolic expression, and that is what is called as floral formula, right? And floral formula ki thakibo, kismon symbols thakibo, symbols bilake ki kobo, the number of members that is present in each and every hole of a flower. So when we talk about a flower, there are 4 holes: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynosium. All the 4 holes are represented by certain alphabets. And what is the number of calyx, or what is the number of sepals that the flower has, what is the number of petals that the flower have, looking at that formula, looking at that symbolic expression, we can have an idea about the entire flower, and this is what is called as floral formula. While we are writing about a floral formula, as I said, we need to write certain symbols. So aji okkoman arambho kori diu. What is the floral formula? To floral formula. right. So, when we are writing a symbolic expression, generally at first we talk about the symmetry of a flower. এটা ফ্লাৱাৰক symbolic way যদি আমি represent কৰোঁ, that is what is called as a floral formula, right? So, while writing a floral formula, the first thing generally that we write at the beginning is the symmetry of a flower. Remember the word symmetry of a flower, what we understand by this term? Symmetry কি আছিলে? Remember the words called as actinomorphic and zygomorphic, right? So, that is what is called as symmetry, right? So, if you are writing a symbol, if you are representing a flower in the form of a formula, symmetry is also something that you need to write it down. So, that looking at the symbolic expression, we understand that that flower is an example of actinomorphic and zygomorphic, right? Next, now Next, as I said, the formula is written in the form of certain symbols. So, what are the symbols that we use? Those who have the PDF in front of you, you don't have to write it down. Jar 9, because this is the information that is given there. Is this part over? STD, हाँ. So, I think we understand this one. If it is within the bracket, it represents the fuse condition, right. Similar is a explanation for petals also. Androecium, if all the stamens are arranged in 2 bundles, then it is a term called as diadelphous. Why am I giving this example? Because this is the example that maximum question has been asked. Next, infinite stamen is a characteristic of Malvaceae, very important, we will discuss later, this is also important. Again, free condition, fuse condition we understand. Similarly, in case of Gynoecium, if suppose this bracket is given, then we have a word called as K, syncarpus, because Gynoecium or ami, K, we do not use the word called as free fuse, generally no koi place, syncarpus or apocarpus, these are the 2 words that we understand, right. So, if there is a bracket, we use the word syn. Since how many gynoecium or how many carpels are present inside the bracket, you have 2, so we are writing it bicarpellary. If it is 1, it is just a unicarpellary or monocarpellary. Next, this is something that you need to pay attention to, right. Whenever we talk about the carpel, we write the position of the ovary, we denote it with the help of a line. If the line is above G, we are talking about inferior condition. If the line is below the G, it makes the G superior, right. So, we are talking about the superior ovary. So, look the please look into the this one. that line. Apart from this, কিছুমান special conditions আছে দুটা মাত্ৰ. We see epipetalous condition also in a flower. What is epipetalous? Yes, Sile. If enukwa jodi kiba eta likha ase, it's said to be epipetalous. What does it denote? It denotes that the stamen is attached with calyx. Sorry, it's attached with the corolla, because we know calyx represented by K, right? Corolla represented by C, androecium represented by A. So you have the stamen that is attached with the petals, and this is what is called as epipetalous. The condition to write is this one. Another condition, epiphyllous. Again, since we are writing A, so we are talking about the stamen or the androecium. P denotes what? P denotes parient, right? So if you are talking about parent, it's a characteristic of generally the monocots, right? So if the stamen is attached with the parent or individual member ki asile? Tepal, right? So if the stamen is attached to a tepal, then it is called as epiphyllous. Such a condition is seen in case of monocots. And in your NCERT book, since you have to talk about 3 angiospermic families, out of that 1 angiospermic family ki diya ase Liliaceae, right? Liliaceae sabasun a word to ase, right? So that is the way. In the next class, I think this is all for today, okay? So in the next class, what we are going to discuss is the floral diagram and certain points about the angiospermic families. Floral diagram, no doubt many questions has not been asked, but in spite of that, it is something that's very important. It might be asked in the next exam or in the coming future. Question keneke ahe? At a particular floral diagram would be given, and you would have to identify the particular floral diagram represents which family. Now from both point of view, all you have to do is you have to practice, you have to by heart, because you have to know how to draw it. But from entrance point of view, since the question will never be asked, now please draw the floral formula of this one. So from entrance point of view, there are certain points through which you can identify, because if you are talking about those diagrams or if you are talking about floral formulas, NCERT book only 3 of the families are given, but we have to read 6 of them. So 6 floral formulas and 6 floral diagrams we need to by heart, right? Instead of by hearting, especially from both level, it's a little bit tougher because you have to practice it, right? But from the entrance level, it is easier because you don't have to by heart. There is just one point about the 6 diagrams, and that unique point is more than sufficient to identify যে কোনটো ফ্যামিলিৰ এটো floral diagram হয়. Similarly, if you are talking about floral formula, 6 of the floral formulas are required. From entrance point of view, question ki hoibo? Identify the floral formula of Solanaceae, identify the floral formula of Liliaceae. So there is one unique point to identify. So if you know that point, there is no point of by hearting the entire formula. So please pay attention in the next class, right? That's very important from entrance point of view. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you. Daily eneke hole keneke hobo pason. Please take this.